I should say good afternoon. It's afternoon here on the East Coast. I'm super, super excited to have you all with us this morning. This is the Know Like Trust podcast, live cast. I'm your host, Christine George. I'm also the co-founder of Post and Beam Creative. And today we have a great show for you. I am talking to my friend, Georgia Perez. She's the Chief Growth Officer at Live Easy, formerly Move Easy. We're going to talk a little bit about that. Georgia has been in the real estate space for many years. She's a pro. She's just incredibly smart, savvy, kind, all of these things, a great negotiator, and really has high level expectations of great client service. And I have experienced that personally working with Georgia. So super excited to have you on the show. Welcome, Georgia.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
Me too. Georgia and I, over the years, have had business partnerships. We have had drinks together, dinner together, walks together. We've talked about everything under the sun. And so I actually threw a curveball at Georgia today because she thought we were going to really get into like this menopausal stuff. And I said, no. No way. We're talking about Live Easy today because that is the name of your new company. So you moved there, about a year ago? Was it now?
7 months.
Wow, 7 months. And you've had sort of numerous roles in the real estate space, in the real estate tech space. Before we get into Live Easy, can you just give us a little bit of background on your experience?
Yeah. Well, thank you for asking. So I've been in technology space for almost 30 years, but I took a little weird junket about, 15, 16 years ago. I decided I wanted to become a realtor, and people who are realtors out there will laugh because I thought I would get more control of my life. And so I made this pivot after leaving one of the last startups that I helped get off the ground and became a real estate agent for Windermere Real Estate, and then later managing broker. And then they launched a tech company now known as MoxieWorks, and they were just going to market and hired me to come help take them to market before they hired their current CEO. And then I was his first hire when he came on and stayed there for the last almost 12 years. And then I left there just in, late last year, thinking I was going to take some time off. And then the opportunity at Live Easy came up. So I've been both a realtor, feet on the street. I've managed realtors, and I've been sold real estate technology to try to help realtors be more successful. And so it's a little bit of broad stuff there, but it all makes sense somehow.
Yeah. And I think the depth of the knowledge you have from being on the ground as a realtor and really understanding the tech space, which it gives you a very unique perspective because you know, when you're the realtor, you are the chief cook and bottle washer. You are in charge of everything. And so technology is really important, but it's just a very small piece of what you do as a realtor. So yes. It's got to be good. It's got to be helpful, and it's got to save you time, right?
Yes. Yeah. And, it is an interesting industry as well because of the fact that realtors are independent contractors. Often, they don't use the technology that they're asking their broker to provide. And so they're asking for things, and yet then it's such a disruption to the way that they want to work every day that they don't do those things, even though they will make them more successful. So, it's our jobs in the tech industry to not only create tech that's easy, but we've got to come alongside and understand how to speak realtor so we can help people, to be honest, get out of their own way and do at least the minimal things that will help them, live a great life. My big shock when I became a realtor was that, granted, it was literally the hardest job I have ever done in my life. I was, on the phone with clients at 1 a.m. when they were freaking out that their furniture wouldn't fit. I mean, I literally took blue painter's tape once and went at 1 a.m. with my little old lady client to mark out on the floor of the carpet every single place her furniture would go so she would stop freaking out about her move. And, a lot of people out there don't think about being commission only, which is, again, the majority of realtors out there where they're living closing to closing, and there's no one paying for their insurance or vacation pay or any of that. So it is a very hard job, and it contributes the largest dollars to our national economy, and it's very honorable. But a lot of consumers out there just don't realize all of those things when they think about a real estate agent.
100%. They think, and even people who come into the business, because it's such a low barrier to entry, it's like, you think you're going to go in there and make all of this money, and you realize it's a hustle. Like you're fishing for your meal every single day. Doesn't just come to you.
Right.
So before we got on, and I know I'm totally getting off track here, but I had mentioned I'm listening to Will Guidara's book, Unreasonable Hospitality. And in it, he talks about how he came up through the ranks, and, he started out, as a dishwasher in the real estate business, and he did every job possible. So he could really understand what it took to have a successful restaurant. He talks about in it corporate smart versus restaurant smart. And I feel like that really relates to our business and to what you were just saying, because he says, restaurant smart is connecting one-on-one with the people that are coming in, the clients, the people who have really come in for an experience. Yes, the food is drawing them in, but it's the service and the experience that creates, the memory once they leave and the desire to come back. And the corporate smart is really, it's really the tech side. It's the administrative side. It's the operational side. It's everything that you need to do to be able to scale. But that takes away from the restaurant smart, right? Like you can't, how do you have efficiencies and, that deep level of client connection? And it's a very, very fine line. And I think that goes to what you were saying about, agents just don't want to, embrace the technology piece because it goes against everything that makes them so successful, which is that relational part, right?
Yeah. But it's funny. I do agree with everything you're saying. And even from a technology perspective, as technology companies succeed and they're asked to scale and scale and scale and scale and reduce expenses, often the first thing they throw out is the service. It's the part that's expensive because it's the human beings that walk in and out of the building, and you can't make that as much efficient as you'd like. And it's a real mistake when people remove the service. Service is a product. And in our space in particular, you just have to have it. And yes, I agree. Agents want to focus on the relationship, but we say that, and yet what's the thing that agents are accused of constantly, right? It's that they sort of pass that relationship off once that client is done. And I don't think it's always intentional either. Being in sales myself, even not as a realtor now, what happens is, you're focused on the thing that's right in front of you now. And while you're doing that, all the activities that need to happen to bring you the next client are fallen off your plate. And unless you have an admin who's continuing to send out your mailings, or you work with a marketing company who's making sure to keep you top of mind, or you're using technology and services that help you continue to be of service while you're helping the next clients or two. It's honestly a very difficult conundrum for agents because their jobs are very labor intensive in the relationship side. I mean, they're not only doing all the tactical things of a purchase or sale, but they really are like psychologists to the client and helping do all these things. And it's very relational, which means that's a very large time chunk. So the business part just becomes very hard to manage at the same time if you're single, doing business by yourself.
Yes. And so that is one of the reasons I am really sort of attracted to what you're doing at Live Easy. So because it really, and it felt very aligned with what we do, like we're not, Carrie and I were talking the other day, we are not a volume and value type of a firm. We are highly high touch, highly, tailored personal service. And Live Easy is sort of trying to do that with technology, is bring that human piece in it. So talk to us about Live Easy. Give us like sort of the elevator speech, and I'd love to understand how it helps realtors.
Okay, we'll have to laugh a little because when people ask me to give an elevator speech, I'm really terrible at it, meaning that you better be on we must be on a 500-story building. So I have long enough to get it all out, in the elevator ride, like the 30 seconds I'm not very good at. But Live Easy was born because our CEO, he was actually going through a move himself and found it to be one of the most incredibly stressful things he'd ever been involved with, right? He's trying to work his own job, his marriage, etc. And he just thought, literally, I wish there was an easy button for moving. So the company was originally Move Easy. And our purpose really was to come alongside the realtor. And by the way, this will shock you, but we do not charge the brokerage or the agent for our services. So we're not a SaaS company. We don't have monthly fees. We actually don't even charge the consumer for our service. We are selling some of the services that they use, and that's where we make our revenue. So we're free currently anyway to our broker and agent clients, and we come alongside in their name and even in their brand. A lot of people don't realize how successful we are because we're never Live Easy or Move Easy. We're Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Forever Concierge, Century 21 Home Concierge, we're Howard Hanna Home Concierge, Fox and Roach's Home Concierge, right? So we're always in their name. So even when an agent has a closing, this is the original model. So again, not a good elevator speech, but so agent has a closing, the client is invited immediately to have their personal concierge help talk to them. What's stressing you out about your move? How can we help? Do you need us to help arrange junk, a moving van? Are there home improvements you need to do for it to go on the market? Or do you need some home improvements in the home you're buying and moving to? Do you need us to change your utilities? Can we get you the best rates on wireless and internet? So we do all the things of facilitating everything they need. But when we transitioned to Live Easy, we did that because people didn't lose our services just because they completed their move. Our concierge goes with that client for life. So they can always pick up the phone and schedule a call with their concierge. And it's not a call center. It's not today Sally is talking to you and tomorrow Joe is. If Georgia is your concierge, unless I leave the company, you will always have me as a resource to you. And you can call me up and say, hey, I need something else. I need a vendor to remodel my bathroom. Now that I'm settled in a little bit, I realize it needs some zhuzhing up, right? And we're able to also help the homeowner through their entire living experience. So that's why we changed our name. We have a home ownership platform now. We help the homeowners make good decisions about building wealth through their home while also reducing their expenses. And we keep the agent, the mortgage broker, and anyone else in that transaction permanently in front of that client. So the second they need something else, they're connected. This is the part that really gets me because I'm going to go back to my roots, which is consumer products goods. And I remember selling pet food when I was with Nestle years and years and years ago. And I remember that part of our sales training was, cradle to grave. You want to make sure that your products are on the shelf for, the puppy all the way to the geriatric cat, right? Mm-hmm. And so this is exactly the thing. So when we talk about agents, like between 10 and 12% of consumers will use the same agent. And the reason for that is because the agents don't keep in touch. It goes back to what you were saying before, which is once the deal is over, the agent is in the middle of sort of the next piece of work. And so again, it's not necessarily intentional, but unless you've got a whole team behind you who's doing, making sure you're out in front, it's one of their biggest opportunities and challenges, right? So I love this idea because it's a huge opportunity to sort of keep that client from cradle to grave, right? From the beginning till, their first house to their last house. Well, and it's a little more than that too. I mean, one of the things I always, just to give realtors a break from being accused of being poor at keeping in touch. Yes, there are some agents who are poor at keeping in touch. And yes, there is that busyness around the next thing we talked about a minute ago. But if you didn't become best friends with your realtor during your transaction, you probably think your time with them is also done until some other day when you're thinking of purchasing and selling. Like, I went to my realtor. This is the value I thought they provided was to help me purchase or sell. I'm done. see you, thank you for your service. And then it's again 7 to 12 years before I need you again. So the consumer is also not recognizing necessarily the value that a realtor can have in their lives. I happen to be someone who has constantly gone back to Renee, and I did become very good friends when she sold us our house 23 years ago. Renee Stern, Windermere, yay, love her.
Yeah.
But I have to give her a little plug. And as long as she's a realtor, she'll always be my realtor. So, but I often call her up and go, hey, I want to remodel my bathroom. Is there anybody you trust today? Well, with Live Easy, she doesn't even have to be a phone call for me because our platform allows the agent to put their own preferred suppliers in the system and their brokers as well. So like if Renee invites me to my Live Easy home management system, her preferred vendors of the moment are there. And by the way, some people can monetize that and actually charge people that they like to promote in. You don't have to, but you could. So they're there in my home management dashboard for me. If I've arranged services like my power, utilities, my whatever, all of what I'm paying for my current services are also in my home dashboard. And if we can save you money, we will let you know, because obviously people sometimes get promotional rates when they first sign up for, Comcast, and then all of a sudden their rates are going to get jacked up after that. We track all of that and actually inform the consumer that their rates are going to change and we could get them a better deal. We're following all of that so that the homeowner wants to be in that system. We have the cost versus value report, so it will show what a typical remodel of certain things will yield in terms of improvements to their home value and can connect them then to the resources to do that work. And let's face it too, like when I purchased my house 23 years ago, I put all my cash into my down payment. I didn't have a ton of money left to do other things. Now I've been in my house 23 years. I'm not planning to sell, but I'm in the middle of getting ready to spend a lot of money to finally do some things to my house. So now's the time. I want to know, when what my realtor thinks about, whether my bathroom's more important than my kitchen to remodel, or will it really matter if I make my basement super nice? So we can really allow an agent to insert their database into our system at any time, right? The logical time is they're in a move, but hey, the average agent has 350 people in their sphere, right? And if I upload all 350 people into my Live Easy home management system, roughly 10% of anyone's database is going to move in a year, right? And you want to have something valuable to tie them to you so that you can see them in our system. If they're engaging with our concierge, the agent can see that they've come to us for services. So wouldn't it be nice to know in advance before someone else's sign is in that person's yard because they're listing? Yes. So we create that stickiness as well, that service throughout the life of home, but also an awareness of the agent when someone seems to be doing a lot of work on their home or engaging with us for services that they should probably reach out. We can also replace follow-up systems. A lot of agents pay extra money for like a 12-month follow-up marketing things to go out. Our system can replace that and is absolutely free. So we're sending valuable journey information to the homeowner as well. So we really are trying to completely be like the assistant to the realtor in their name. The homeowner, or even renters, by the way, we have renters who can use our home dashboard while they're trying to build enough wealth to then buy a home. So anyway, we're really just trying to be that sort of something that's not just your typical CRM dripping on people, but that we're actually providing human service to your customer for however long they're in that home until they want help for their next home.
It's brilliant. It's brilliant because you're right. You're in that home and I think the average is 10 or 15 years. Used to be 7. Now it's increased a bit, but maybe you need the roof replaced. Maybe you need a kitchen remodel. Maybe you need a new septic system. Maybe you need new windows, whatever the furnace needs to be replaced, whatever it might be. That stuff is part of home ownership. Even like, landscaping, whatever. There's just a million contractors that you might need over the course of the lifetime of owning the house. And to be able to have that to lean into from your realtor. So here's my next question, which you may not have the answer to, but I was thinking about this and I'm like, okay, if I'm a realtor And I have, I'm experienced, I'm 20 years in the business, and I've probably sold like 10,000 homes over the course of my business, right? That's probably high, but whatever. I can't keep track of where somebody might be in the life cycle of owning their home.
Yeah.
So is there an AI piece of Live Easy that will ping the realtor and say, Georgia and Andy have owned their home for 23 years and they are probably in need of a roof. You might want to reach out to them. Like, is there that kind of AI intelligence out there, or is it a future thing?
No, I mean, well, that part specifically, thank you for the idea. I'm going to talk to our developers the second we are done here. But we do use some AI. Our AI currently is almost entirely in the chat bots that we're using to connect with the consumer, like when the agent invites them, as long as the person opts in for texts, of course, because we know we've got to be careful about texting people without permission. But our system does actually communicate with someone, and we have to actually laugh. And I think you'll appreciate this too, which is that sometimes the AI driven messages are way more grammatically correct and articulate than the human being. So we do have some of that. And then we do have parts of our system that keep the agent up to date on what's happening with anyone in their database. But I like your idea that we could put some time bound things that will remind an agent. And so I love that idea. And probably, again, we're continuously evolving our systems. And so we're never quite sitting still. So that's a really good idea for the home dashboard, but the back end where the agent is seeing what's going on, so that they will know to go log in versus
exactly
all the stuff that's happening automatically on their behalf. Because we've tried to make it so the agent, the only thing an agent really has to do for our system is just make sure that they're putting correct information around the consumer. Right. Agents are very possessive of their databases and very afraid of what people are going to do with them. So of course we keep all of their things sacrosanct, and it is in their system. So it's their database. It's not in a brokerage scene system where they can, see the contacts, et cetera. But, the one thing that they need to do is just make sure, hey, when you have a closing, please make sure in an appropriate amount of time you've put it in the system that will send that over to us, which is like DocuSign, Dotloop, SkySlope. We're integrated with MoxieWorks, KB Core, Lion Desk, et cetera. Otherwise, we try not to make it to where the agent has to constantly log into something. Like we're just sort of handling it all in the background for them. So it's no lift on their part. But there are some things we can do to drive them back into the system when it's appropriate. So sorry, I'm thinking out loud about your ideas.
I'm just thinking so you're sort of, yes, we want to take as much off the agent as possible. We believe in that too, because any time that they are in front of a screen is time away from a client. So yes, we wholeheartedly believe in that. However, to be able to have like a notification when, somebody might need something, and then they get the call from you, from the agent, and they're like, how did they know? My dishwasher was going to break down in 5 years, whatever it is. Well,
and that's a good point too, because we do have all the home warranty information. We partner. We have 500 partners plugged into our platform. So in addition to the services that we sell, we integrate with every major provider out there, Lowe's, Pods, et cetera. And so we really do know things about people's utilities and their appliances and their all of that. We really actually do have the ability to say, hey, did you know your filter needs changing on your furnace because it's been this period of time? So and imagine a day, now this is the real AI thing, but our homes are getting smarter and smarter too, right? Yes. So imagine a day where we really do know, hey, you run your heater at the wrong times of day to economize. Or did you know that if you just programmed your washing machine to do your laundry at midnight, you'd get the off rate for water and utilities and could save X dollars a year? That's literally the AI version of where we could go in the future, because we're connected. Literally, I've got a home that's all connected, and I can tell my phone to turn my lights on and off and turn my heater on, and I can program my clothes washer. So, and they can all be connected to Nest or Apple Home or whatever. So we're going to places where we really could get down to the penny of helping a homeowner save money. And that might seem funny, and I'll throw this one thing out here, and I hope I'm not running way over, but last year, before we now hit this market, which is ridiculously slow for a lot of people, every home in my neighborhood was selling for hundreds of thousands of dollars above asking and in 2 days. And next thing you know, for the first time ever in 23 years, we got our property taxes jacked up. Like, it usually was incrementally very small, but last year, all of a sudden, my property was worth, I don't even want to say, it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
And they put it all into the land and not into the improvements so that, and so I was talking to one of my friends who's retired, and we were talking about the fact that you could own your home outright and be priced out of your home because of property taxes that you could no longer afford to pay. So where I brought that back to Live Easy was, how can we help someone know so much? We can help them literally know that if you could save $20 a month by washing your clothes in the middle of the night. I mean, I'm saying it kind of silly here, but literally we may get to a place where we have to help the homeowner find every penny they can squeeze out of something, because property rates and values and taxes, they're all going up to the point where, beloved people who spent their lives being able to afford this home can't live there anymore. So it all seems silly, but when I talk about that fully connected experience that we're going to, that's where we could get down to granularly helping a homeowner stay in their home by simply economizing simple things they don't even think about on a day-to-day basis. That's my grand vision, is that we're helping homeowners more.
I love that. And to be able to have that thread to the realtor who sold them the house.
Yes.
At the end 100%. Of the day is just pure magic. And I also just, on that thought, like, I know you work with renters as well. And so if you could do the same thing for a renter so that they could take those savings for a down payment on a house, because I know the rental market is just so tight as well. And it's difficult for people to even be able to afford rents. How are they supposed to save money for a down payment on a house, which is ultimately what everybody wants, is to be able to own their own home. So what a great way to be able to help them see the future for their own home ownership as well.
Yeah. And we're talking to another company about partnership. They help the credit bureau is only now just doing credit reporting to help renters actually gain credit worthiness, so that how to get credit worthy. And so we're looking at partnering with companies like that. But part of why we're also working with renters is not just because then for that realtor, there's hopefully someone who needs their services in the future who may not have been able to afford a home, but not every person moves out of a home they own into another purchase, whether it's because they're relocating. I was talking to a former customer of mine who relocated 3 times because she took jobs in different places. And so she had multiple rentals while she also was buying or selling property. So, the realtor's client needs help moving into rentals sometimes as well. And then they're going to be there for some period of time. And again, we want to keep them providing value. So when that person's ready to choose what neighborhood now they want to live in for relocation, they're ready. Or if they've become credit worthy and can now achieve the homeowner dream, they've got a realtor that's provided them something valuable. And so, we saw it as really important to also work with that rental market. Particularly, we are the concierge service for Cardis, and we work with a lot of relocation companies. And so that was very important to be able to service customers who, again, may be making several rental hops before they're ready for the purchase that they're relocating for. So
this is just so exciting to me because, I think back to like the 90s when, the item of value was, a piece of paper like this that had like, don't forget the time change is happening. And, spring is in the air. Make sure you do your spring cleanup in your yard.
Right.
To this, right. That has real monetary value. Why is Live Easy so relevant right now?
Well, I think first of all, because agents are really experiencing, many agents anyway, and brokerages are experiencing a real downturn. And as we already discussed, there's also a lot of downward pressure on homeowners and renters because economics, rents and mortgages are going up. And so being able to truly provide a value of driving wealth and reducing expenses is something that every agent can do. And also we want agents to be seen as the source of truth and the expert, right? So something, again, I'll use myself. Now that I've lived in my home for a while, if my realtor system, Live Easy, could tell me that Seattle is offering a rebate if I put solar on my house, and then it ties me to someone who's going to help me make those decisions, which again, Live Easy can do. Now I'm again looking at what can I do now that I'm settled and stable in my home to drive my future expenses down, and solar, for example, something. But my agent being the expert that knows that, hey, for this 6-month period, Washington State or Seattle, where I live, is offering a rebate. I did something like this just a few years ago. Washington was offering a giant rebate. I think it saved us like $35,000 to make our home more energy efficient. And they actually managed the entire project. We had our home insulated. We got an entire high efficiency furnace. But all of that information, if the realtor could have been the one saying to me, hey, Georgia, you have a unique opportunity right now to save $35,000 on a really important project that'll save you this much money over the life of your ownership. Like, that's something that would blow my mind to have my realtor doing. And that is something that Live Easy does. We stay up on every state in the nation and local things that are happening, rebates that are available to people. And we can actually help people assess. We call it a bill swap, and solar's a good example. Like, how much do I spend on my electrical bill today? How much will it cost me once my solar is up and running? And also, if I had a large yard, which I don't, but I could have a solar plant that I could even sell some of my power back to the city and make money off of a solar installation. So again, those are complicated things that both a realtor and a homeowner probably would have their mind go over, but we can do it and make it super easy and be a service.
It's amazing to be able to save money, build wealth. And then, the cherry on top is that the realtor's name is constantly in front as not just being top of mind, but really adding, legitimate value, in between the buying and selling process. It's just amazing.
And that's going to help with repeat and referral business, right? Yes. This is something exceptional you're doing for me. I want my friends and family to have that experience. And we literally, when we say we do it in their name, even our concierges, we have a special system where when they're engaging with a consumer, they have in their system, they know exactly who the agent is. They know the brokerage brand. They know what products and services that we don't sell to those people. So for example, with Howard Hanna, if they need insurance, we refer them to Howard Hanna's insurance. We don't offer any of our insurance products. We answer the phone in their name. We're not saying this is Live Easy. This is, Howard Hanna Home Concierge for, Jane Agent.
Wow.
We literally are down to the person on the phone, never identified by Live Easy. We are always the concierge team of that agent and offering that brokerage's service. We send more leads, by the way, to the brokerage's ancillary services than any other partner in the industry. And that's super important as well. We don't even ask them to give us we don't get a referral fee. It's completely not it's RESPA compliant. We're not getting paid to do it. But that's where the broker, whose margins are ever slimmer these days, also needs help. They need to make the money on the services where their margins aren't slim. So we also partner to do that. And our concierges know where the lines are drawn. Like, this is where that goes to Fox and Roach's mortgage. That goes to this, so really trying to truly, most people don't know, we work with 900 brokerages in America and almost 165,000 agents today. And yet you wouldn't know that because we're never doing it in the name of Move Easy or Live Easy. We're in the name of the agent and the brokerage always.
That's fantastic. I love it. Georgia, as we start to wrap this up, what are 3 things you would like to leave our community with?
Don't do it alone. We have a lot of agents who will say, well, I provide all those services. And I'm like, great, but what could you do with your time if I could give it back to you? So don't try to be the hero who does it all. Use great services like ours. We don't cost you anything, and we can help be a hero to your client every day while you're doing your business Don't be afraid of using technology. Reach out and ask for help if you need it, because it's there. It's meant to be your friend, and you don't have to eat the elephant all at once. You can take it one bite at a time. So let us help you. I used to always say, dip your toe in the water and then we'll help you swim out to the deep end over time. You don't have to do it all at once. Let's see. The third thing is, hey, call me, email me, Georgia@liveeasy.com if I can help, or you want any follow-up information. We're happy to have a conversation. And if we're not a fit, we'll tell you somebody who is.
Awesome. Now, how can people find Live Easy?
www.liveeasy.com. And there's certainly contact forms there as well. But again, email me personally if you like. And and we're nationwide, and we're US based. So all of our people are sitting in Columbus, Ohio, ready to take your clients' calls.
Oh, that is fantastic. Okay, we're before we wrap up, finish this sentence. Know, like, trust is.
Know, like, trust is the right way to live, right? People want to do business with people they know, like, and trust, which is why I want to do business with you. And I don't know. You fill in the sentence. Know, like, trust is.
Oh, God, it is the essence of humanity. I don't know. It is.
It's find your people too, right?
Yeah, it's find your tribe for sure.
Well, I'm super glad that I know, like, and trust you. And I'm so excited you had me on your podcast today. It was such a privilege.
And it is. And it's just an honor to have you. And you know how much I deeply appreciate you. So thank you so much for being here.
And you as well. Thanks.
For everyone who's watching, just let us know you were here. Let us know what you think. Share it with your friends if you enjoyed our conversation. And above all, leave us a 5-star review. We would really, really appreciate it. So that's it for us today. Hope you all have a great day. And thanks for being here. Take care, everyone. Bye.
Bye.